So here's what I came up with to terrify the mice even more. When they walk out on the teeter-totter and those wires touch, not only will they get blasted with a double air horn, but there's a motor here attached to 4 flags. That way they'll spin behind them, thinking some animal's going to try to grab them, and they'll jump down. Today for Mousetrap Monday, I'm going to build a mousetrap that I invented that uses a battery-powered air horn. This thing is so loud, and when triggered, it will scare the mice into jumping into a tub. We're going to build a trigger system with a teeter-totter. When the mouse goes out there and trips the trigger, it will connect the circuit and get a loud blast from the air horn. Then it'll be terrified and jump off to the side into the bucket. Now I'm going to go and build this in the workshop, but first I want you to hear just how loud this thing is. It's deafening. We'll just connect the black and red wires to the battery. Ooh, that thing's enough to terrify any rodent. Now I'm going to go to the workshop and build our trap, then I'll show you how it works. Well, here's our completed air horn mousetrap. This was a lot of fun to make. It fits on a tub, so when the mouse goes out there and trips it, it will get scared and drop down. This is a plank that goes out with a teeter-totter. On the very end are 2 wires, one up above and one down below. When the mouse walks on it, it will connect the circuit and sound the air horn. There's 2 air horns right here behind this wall. They're connected with the wires to a battery and back. This looks like a lot of fun. I have the balance point just right for the mice to walk out there, connect the circuit, get a very loud blast, and jump. But there's only one way to test it out. First, we're going to get our pet mice. Then we're going to set it up in the barn with motion cameras and see if we can scare the wild mice into jumping down in the tub. Okay, Mouse, show us how this air horn mousetrap works. Well, it didn't jump right away. I hope the wild mice do. We're going to have to test that out. The pet mouse just stood there and got blasted with the sound. That's terrible. Let's go set up the motion cameras and see if the wild mice are much more scared. Well, I have to admit, I'm very surprised with the results. I did unplug our trap to save our ears, but I thought when the mouse went out there and the wires touched, it'd get blasted with the double horn, get terrified, invoke the flight response, and jump and end up in the bucket. But that didn't happen at all. Functionally, our trap works very well. The mouse goes out there on the teeter-totter, those wires touch, and man, it blasts. But the mouse doesn't seem to run away. Instead, it just backs off and then eventually becomes comfortable with the sound and will go out there to get the bait. So a loud noise is not enough alone to scare a mouse. But I don't want to give up on this mousetrap idea. Sometimes you have to go back to the drawing board. I really want to scare the mice, so I'm going to include movement. I'll include a motor here, so when it touches the wires, it will spin. I'll put paddles on here that might scare the mice enough to jump. Along with the loud noise and something moving behind it, it just might work. Let's go to the workshop, make a better mousetrap, and then test it out. So here's what I came up with to terrify the mice even more. When they walk out on the teeter-totter and those wires touch, not only will they get blasted with a double air horn, but there's a motor here attached to 4 flags. That way they'll spin behind them, thinking some animal's going to try to grab them, and they'll jump down. At least that's the idea. Now I detached the air horns to save our ears. I'll reattach it on our test in the barn, but the mouse will walk out there, and when it touches, it spins, and it stops as soon as the mouse jumps down. That should work. If it doesn't, I'll be amazed. Let's go set up the motion cameras and see if our improved air horn spinning flag mousetrap works. Well, I really thought that a spinning flag would scare the mouse enough to make it jump down, and there is a mouse down there, but pretty much my idea for this mousetrap was a complete failure. They're not scared of the air horn, they'll return time after time. Even with this spinning, they just run back, so it's not enough to make them jump down. This one just wanted to get down and it jumped and couldn't get back out. So the only time we actually caught a mouse was a mouse being dumb enough to jump in a tub, and it had nothing to do with this complicated system. That's why you have to test out mouse traps you come up with. Sometimes it's a really good idea on paper, but in reality, it just doesn't work. So I put this as one of the biggest failures, but it was fun building. Now what we caught is a native species of deer mouse, so instead of killing it, I'm going to take it out in the wild and set it free and call this one pretty much a bad idea. If you have an idea of making this a better mousetrap, leave a comment down below. But it had so many flaws. It's really loud. Sometimes it gets stuck and will just spin and make loud noises and you have to stop it. And there's quite a few sparks, so it could be a fire hazard. I'm not going to test this one out anymore, but go back to the drawing board. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please consider clicking that button. I've posted over 800 videos on YouTube, and currently I'm posting new videos every Monday and Friday. So if you want to see the best videos on how to catch mice, rats, squirrels, chipmunks, moles, voles, and gophers, stay tuned. Now let's go set this mouse free. Okay, mouse, try to avoid jumping in any more buckets. Come on out of there. Thanks for watching.